first and foremost wanted to say that I enjoyed the YouTube video with Antoni. I thought that it was really relatable, especially now more than ever with the pandemic. Our screen time is only going up more. We're using technology as our main channel of communication, especially because, well, since we just can't be face to face right now. And yeah. So one of the topics that he mentioned that is also mentioned in our lecture material is he said one of the 5 axioms of communication, and it was you cannot not communicate. And he used the example of a father going into the classroom to pick up his kid from school, and that in his mind, if he's looking at his phone, he's not having to communicate with anyone, he's not communicating with anyone. But on the other hand, he actually is communicating, because he's communicating to those that are around him that whatever's on his screen that he's looking at is more important than what's around him. And he also mentioned noise in the video, and it was specifically digital noise, and it's important to understand that, like, for example, digital noise would be texting your kids that dinner is ready rather than just yelling down the hallway or up the stairs or whatever. And it's kind of important to realize that there has been just a transition from analog to digital. And I think an example from my end would be when cell phones didn't have like internet and stuff, and cell phones were just kind of coming out, like iPhones and stuff. People didn't really use iPhones at the table, cell phones at the table. But then now if you go out and you notice, there's lots of families that are just looking at their screen instead of like talking with their family and, you know, using that quality time with them. I think that's kind of interesting. And yeah. Another topic that was mentioned was that you must learn effective interpersonal skills, like you're not born with them. And he mentioned that it takes time to master, and it's much easier for us to just cruise down the digital highway with, you know, quick likes on Instagram or Facebook, or like swipes on other apps. It's much easier, it's much easier to communicate like that than to physically know how to communicate in person. And what I took from one of the slides is that effectiveness of relationships depends on our effort in those relationships. So, you know, it's what you put in is what you're gonna get. So, you know, just through digital communication only isn't going to be as effective on the growth of a relationship as in person. Like, for example, I can think of if you're just talking to a guy through the phone, your relationship might not go anywhere. But if you actually go on a date in person and get that chance to communicate and get to know each other more in person, then that relationship can definitely grow. And this can go with like friendship or romantic relationships, I could say. And altogether, he mentioned that we are losing our communication skills. We're like losing, there's a loss of empathy when it's just through digital communication and clarity and energy. And that's definitely true. I know that through texting, and especially texting, I would say that the clarity of messages are being sent or received are lost, and just there can be confusion definitely where things have to be cleared up through conversation, because through a text message it didn't come across the same way.